Hey guys, it's Maisha Gibson from Joy of Julian. One of the things I want to talk about quickly is transitioning from from elementary to middle school, and then from middle school to high school. When your kid is in fifth grade, you're going to go through a series of things. They're going to talk to you about middle school and ask questions. You need to know what classes they're going to be taking, whether they're in full resource, if they're in self-contained, or they're in the AU unit, or they're in the severe and profound classes. Ask those things. Don't sit back and wait on your art. Ask questions. You can get things to move along really quickly, especially when the paperwork comes in. That brown manila packet, trust me, I am so familiar with that. Don't sit on your kitchen table and wait till the teacher asks you. Fill it out as soon as you can. And I understand, I'm a teacher and I always have so much to do. However, I have to understand that I'm a teacher, so therefore I should know better. But my workload is no different from anybody else's. At the end of the day, I still have to adhere to the things and the needs of my child. So if you want them to do things in a timely manner, fill out the paperwork. When they send you an email, fill out the paperwork. Take a moment and say, okay, within the next 2 days, I need to fill this out. And if you know you're going to be behind on it, send the teacher an email. Send the LSSP, diagnostician, speech pathologist, or whomever, our counselor, information and let you know that, okay, I'm behind, but let me go ahead and take care of this. So these are just some of the things you can do. Another thing is let go. You got to learn how to let go just a little bit. And I know my kid, he's needy in certain things, and I cried. Everything I'm telling you is based on experience. I'm not telling you anything that I haven't done. I understand the strain. I understand that it's your baby. I understand all of those things. I'm sorry, little people. I understand all of those things, but we have to release them. If we want them to be independent, as we say that we do, to help them have a better quality of life, because that's where I am. We have to sometimes let them lead us just a little bit. Don't pick out everything for them. Ask them what their interests are. Talk to your kid every day. Put the cell phone down. Take a little moment. I don't care if they say 3 sentences. If that's what they say, at least you've heard them. And just try. My kid, he wanted to be James Harden. He wanted to be a football star at one point. He wanted to be... he says he wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to own his own chairs and tables event company. I'm like, okay, well, his dad did that once before, so he wants to do that because it was easy for him. And when I think back on the things that he did, it was very as a matter of fact, he just stacked the chairs up. He stacked a certain number of chairs. He loaded it on the truck. He pulled them out the truck, and I was like, okay, it's very routinish. It's very very definite thing. He had to have a certain amount of this, and that's just how he is. The next thing, when you go to 5th grade, speak to the middle school teachers before. Why don't you do me a favor, and do yourself a favor, and go one day when school is in and ask them, can I have a tour of your sped class? Don't give them the heads up. If you give them the heads up, you might get a dog and pony show. I'm just keeping it real. I am a parent, but I'm a teacher too. You get what you get. You want to see them in rare form so that okay, this happens. And you know what? It's sped. You never know. You never know who might just had an incident. They could have had a reaction, a trigger or something. That's life. But you want to see how the teacher functions under pressure. Just come and show up. Just take a tour and see how they are in their middle school. Same thing with high school. Go and say a visit and say, hey, I want to just visit and see. Tell the assistant principal, I just want to go, meet the special ed director. These things are things that you can do to make yourself feel more comfortable. Also, call the year in advance, call in 7th grade to see if you can do it so that you will have an idea. Because if you don't like the school, you have rights. You have the right to go to another school within the district. And you state your rights. Now, the thing is, you do have to find them transportation there at times. But that's a whole nother video about transportation. But, guys, you have rights. Quit letting people tell you what you can do. Look at that notice of notice of procedures and safeguards and procedures. Look to see what your rights, and it has a section in there as well as parents' rights. You have rights. Stop letting people tell you what you do. If you go to church, we don't just accept everything the minister says to us. We actually read for ourselves. You are accountable for the things that you know. So read for yourself. They're giving you information. Don't just throw it in a pile and say, I'm tired of getting this piece of paper. And then when things come up, you expect these people to tell you. But they've given you all of the tools and resources at your fingertips. Read for yourself. Highlight what it is that you need to know. And that's another video as well. So anyway, we'll talk about transportation and those forms as well in that packet of your rights. However, transitioning is hard. You got to guide your kid. Don't spring it on them. Let them go to the summer camps. Go up there. I don't care if everybody's regular and your child is the only one. Sometimes that's the best thing. They'll make friends before you even know it. My son has a lot of friends. Is he very sociable? Nope. But they are attracted to him and they gravitate to him because they say he's super positive. He gives high fives. He likes to play during recess. He goes to the dance. I put him out there so that people will know he's not that different from you. But you got to get out of your comfort zone and stop saying they're going to tease him and they're going to not like him. That's because of the reception we give off. Sometimes we project our own feelings onto our children. You got to let go little by little. It's not something I've done. Say I'm not going to do it anymore and it just happened. No, it took time. You know, I've got into it with teachers and disagreed with them and but guess what? That was my right. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have rights that you should know that no one can take from you. But if you don't exert those rights and if you don't know your rights, then you can't really say what's right or wrong. So read for yourself. 1, transition, release them gradually. Also take the time. It's okay. Middle school was the best years for my son. That's when I learned how to let go, but I asked a lot of questions. Middle school was the best time for me because I really fell in love with his teachers. His teachers are like my family to this day. Now, high school's a little different because they're more hands-off and they lump them all together kind of thing. He went to 2 different high schools, okay? My son started off in HISD, and now he's in Fort Bend. There are certain things that I loved about HISD. There are certain things that I like about Fort Bend. If I had to choose, we're not going to talk about that, but that's because that's a personal choice. And I don't want to mislead you at all. I want you to make these choices on your own. I just love the background I had when I started teaching in the other district. I took my kids with me. It was the best situation for me. He loves where he is. He's learning a lot. I haven't had any problems. He's learning. They make him accountable. Where he was before, he was not held accountable as much to me. And you got to know your kid. Man. You cannot let these teachers just give them all of this power over your child. You have to know your kid. And that's the biggest thing, the transition. You got to take the reins off. You got to release them little by little. And you have to know your kid and do what's best for them. But don't be scared. My son went to camp 5 times. Camp Cullen and Camp Olympia. Great time. The teacher stayed with him. I know she has some stories. But he rode a horse. He did archery. He did all of these things. You have to expose them to those things, but they'll never get there when they're going to work training and you going into the workplace and you hovering over them. Back up. You can't go everywhere with them. How do you expect them to grow up if we don't release some of this control? So little by little, if you would like to speak to me, you leave me a message. Our email address is joyofjulian, JOYOFJULIAN @outlook.com. So if you have any specific questions for your child or for anyone else, a family member, it doesn't matter, you can leave it there and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you. If you have any other questions or comments, you may leave them in the comment section. Please subscribe and like our YouTube page. Thank you so much. Bye. Go Blue for You.